Hey everyone. Well, today's mission is going to be the start of dealing with the car problem that I have. Acquired a couple of cars. A couple were on purpose, a couple were just incredible deal at the time. Couldn't pass them up. So I got to make some space for them. And in the way back of the yard, I have a horse stable / half a barn type thing, whatever, that I'm going to slide two of them in for right now, just to put them kind of out of the weather and organized and out of view from the street and all that type of stuff until I get everything set up. So today I'm going to take the tractor because those had horses in them. Property's been abandoned 17 years. There's still horse poo all in them. So I'm going to go back there, see what I can do about scratching some of that out, leveling it out, ripping out some of the weeds in front of it and stuff like that. Just kind of make it a little less nasty in there. Then we'll slide a couple of these in there and clear up some of the front yard so it doesn't look like a junkyard out here. So let's get started. Amateur YouTuber move. I set up the time lapse and didn't hit record, but I rolled that forward and dragged that. You missed me struggling with that thing. That right rear is still locked up and it weighs so much that the tractor was sliding sideways trying to pull it. But we got that moved. See where the back tire was dragging. And I don't know if you can see where the tractor was dragging sideways or not. No, not really. But I'm going to scrape up this crap that was underneath this thing from cleaning out the inside and rinsing it all off and rinsing it out and all that stuff. Then we'll get the tractor out back and start cleaning up that garage. Or barn, whatever you want to call it. All right, so 2 stall areas cleared out reasonably well, not perfect. I still want to dig down deeper, but I'm going to bring in a bunch of crushed rock. But at this point, that's good enough for now. Get them in there and get the other bays all cleared out. And then I'll bring a bunch of crushed rock and just roll the cars out, roll them back in. First one in is something you probably haven't seen on the channel yet. The parts car I've been holding on to for a while for one of my other projects. And that's on the trailer. I just brought it back from where I was storing it 100 miles away last night. So let's work on getting that thing finagled around out of one driveway, back in the other, around the garage, and all the way through, zigging through this small gate opening, down and around, and just see if we can do it without any incidents. If we hit a fence and knock a fence down, doesn't matter. They're all coming down eventually. If you look at them, they're all raggedy. Yeah, if that comes down, that's not an issue. But it's over there on the trailer. If you can peek through the fence, see it on the back over there. Hey, look, there's a Charger. It may look like it's in the weeds, but it's not in the weeds. It's over here, thoroughly cleared. That one, I'm keeping that one up front because I do want to play with this one actively and just stay inspired by seeing it all the time. The rest, oh, you might have just seen the other car. The rest, they're on the docket, but we're going to take our time getting to those. All right, let's go be a trailer driver. All right, that's one in. Threaded the needle real nice because of that, how close that outer pole is, and it's staggered from the other pole. Couldn't get the trailer just right to get it straight, so it's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I could pull that forward with the tractor and steer it right back in nice and straight after I do the crushed rock. But that's not too bad. She's in there, and she's just about all the way under cover. Almost all the way under. So let's go get the other one and drop it in there. Tell you, being attacked by mosquitoes makes you not be able to focus. Forgot to start the time lapse when I positioned the trailer for the next one to move out back. One thing I did want to mention though, and this is the reason why I came over and noticed that the time lapse wasn't going, is you may always notice that I always have a yellow strap hooked to the car and to the trailer on almost everything I'm doing, and it depends on the situation, but like right now those are just weeds and that's a drop off to my neighbor's yard. So in this situation, this is uphill right here, so this, even where it's sitting, it's going downhill. So if this hook slips off, if the winch cable breaks, if the winch gives out, if anything like that happens, this thing has no transmission, no brakes, no nothing in it. So there's going to be no stopping that thing from going into the neighbor's yard. So I always hook up a tow strap as a safety. I'll hook it right to the trailer, right to there, and if it's too long, the car can get momentum and easily snap it. So I'll usually set it up where it's kind of at its max, pull it 3-4 feet, and then you'll see me re-loop it, and I'll take up the slack somewhere and re-hook it and keep it so if it does break free, it can't get that momentum to snap the thing off. So that's why you normally see that. It's a good practice to get into because it's just that little extra layer of safety, because I was using a ramp truck when I was a kid and I was aiming uphill with the ramp truck bed up, and I was pulling a car on the bed in the property of the transmission shop I worked at, and there was a car sitting on the corner with a wheel chock in it. We had the transmission out in the shop with it being rebuilt, and it was just sitting out there while they were building the tranny. The one I was pulling one on, and the winch cable actually came out of the drum and spun right out, or either that, the winch drum popped free and it went, and then it ripped right out of the drum. But all I know is that thing, you heard whoop whoop, and it was just the cable unspooling, and the car just took off. I went grabbing the car, I was just sliding, seen it heading for the other one. I ran over, I grabbed that, smashed that one, and sent it right out in the street, and right at a main intersection in South Boston. And somehow there was nobody at that set of lights, and that thing just skipped right out into the street with minimal damage to the bumper. So it does happen. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. So I was throw safety. All right, let's get this thing on. The mosquitoes are killing. Well, there we go. 2 cars moved. I left the tractor out here figuring I was going to need that to drag one sideways, shuffle it, drag it back out, drag it off the trailer. Figured something. It just went nice and smooth. As you can see, the 55. Yeah, I repositioned the trailer like 17 times trying to just get it just right. But let me show you how tight things are in here. So if you look, we got about, I don't know, 4 or 6 inches on that side, probably about 2 on this side, and then the same thing with this thing. It's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 on that side, maybe about 4 on this side. So it's definitely threading the needle. But that was good. Didn't get stuck in the yard. Spun the tires a little bit with the 55 because there's no motor, no tranny, no nothing in that. So it's light in the tongue, so it's kind of taking the weight off of the back tires of the truck, with the back end of the car being heavier than the front. So I had to put it in full load just to make it go smooth. And we got her done. Let's see if we get anything else done. I'm gonna get up front and just see how bad the mosquitoes are up front right here. I wish we could actually see them. They are thick out here. It's torture. So, all right, I'm gonna get this out front. I'm gonna get the tractor up front because we're about to lose light. And we do have animals out here. And we know there's bobcats, coyotes, fox, there's bear two houses over, probably been bears here, plenty of deer and everything else. And then I noticed a minute ago over here, you can see something trampled through. You can see there's a disruption. Something went through there and then came out over here. So, but that whole area in there, I have not been in that side yet. But there's a lot of clover in here, so the deer love that. All right, let's just get these things packed. Probably won't look putting these away, and let's see if we can get in something else. All right, slight change of plans. I've been curious if the tractor is going to fit on this, if it's going to squash the suspension and everything else. And I got to bring this up front, and I got to bring that up front. So they're both right here. Why not tilt the trailer up and see if they're going to fit? I'll leave the camera going in case there's some chaos. If the trailer just buckles in half, if I come up on it and it just blows the hydraulic piston out of the thing, or something like that. Let's see what happens. I'm going to cautiously try it. Well, it fits. Doesn't seem like it's overloaded. The only downfall is the bucket has to be up. So I'd have to check height limitations and see about making an upright brace, like off the tongue, that I could like bolt in place and strap to the bucket so it can't go anywhere. But I mean, it fits. The bucket's not hanging off the back or anything. I don't know. It fits, so it ships, right? If it fits, it ships. Does that go for sketchy transport of backhoes and tractors? We'll find out. All right, so I pulled it up front. I was gonna unload it, and I was like, wait a minute. I think the bucket might just clear the toolbox on the front. And it's got more room than that. The truck's kind of jackknifed right now to show the maximum amount of turning that you could get out of it. But the bucket did come down just right outside of there, and then it rests on the frame. And you know, you can probably turn a little bit more than that. So that's not turning very sharp. Which that would be fine for like transport, like, and just know like you're not gonna weasel this thing in, like kind of all your normal turns as you go down the road, making a right hand turn and all that stuff. You really ain't gonna turn this hard going, you know, pulling out and going left and right and driving down the highway. So I guess you could technically do this for transport to keep the bucket low. And then once you get where you're going, just fire up the tractor, put the bucket up above the bed, and then you could fully jackknife it to wherever you want to go. So I guess, and there is still room between the axles and the frame, just about the same as it was with the caddy on there. So the suspension's not bottomed out. So I guess this is just one thing I wanted to know, as far as, you know, if a friend needed a hand somewhere local, that can I load it on here and at least go local to, you know, clear snow over the winter, or if their tractor's stuck, go over and help dig it out with this thing, or something along those lines. So that's a plus. I'll take that as a win. So with that, we're just about losing light, so I'm just going to work on unloading this. No need to record that. The other thing I was thinking was I could probably back it on, turn the backhoe sideways, and probably set it wherever I need to set it to get the right amount of tongue weight, and maybe not even have to have the bucket overhang in the front, which might be what I do, because the back of this thing, the backhoe attachment, the whole transmission drive, the back wheels, all that, that's a lot of weight back there. So maybe I wouldn't have to be as far forward if I backed it on. Maybe I'll try that when I'm unloading it. If so, I'll pop back in. But if not, thanks for checking in. I know it's just another boring video, but as usual, I'm still wrapping up the house, trying to do what I can, trying to line up some projects so I'm ready to go. And yeah, this is exciting. Got a couple of cars out back. Got the Charger out here, where the Charger's nice flat ground all the way around. So as soon as I want to mess with that, I can just hook a chain to the tractor, pull it right out to the driveway, and mess with it out here, because that does roll and steer. There's no brakes. But that's a plus, keeping that there. The other two, one's a parts car and the 55. I initially got that because that was going to be a quickie build for the Northeast Vintage Drags. I was going to build a quickie gasser out of it, and just with the house project and everything else, and kind of the lack of drive I've had lately, I didn't dive into it, and it was a short time crunch as it was, and I'm not really set up here for a lot of work. So it would have been fun to try. You guys would have definitely enjoyed it. But that's why I got that one. That's still on the docket to build a gasser out of that. It's just not on too much of the priority at the moment. So I'm still gathering parts. I still need all kinds of stuff for that. Headlight buckets, headlight trim, patch panels, floor pans, interior stuff. Decide on what I'm doing for a motor. I got a 454 in there. I got the fleet line. I might pull the drivetrain out of the fleet line and throw that in that to go drag racing. But we'll see. But it's not off the table yet. That's just kind of, especially with the Charger coming in. The Charger's way up on the list. And then the 60 Caddies, those are obviously up on the list also, because those are a favorite of mine. So anyway, long ending. But thank you for stopping in. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it, of how much chaos it is just shuffling a couple of cars around, and it takes half the day to do it. But we'll be back with something a little better next video, hopefully. I got a plan on starting the motor for the 400 for the Dodge Charger. That might be the next one. If not, it'll probably be buffing the Charger. I might have already said that in the last one. Anyway, thanks again for stopping in. I appreciate you guys. Click the like, subscribe, and all that YouTube mumbo jumbo. But we'll be back. Thank you.